Hey there, creepy peeps, and welcome back to an indie movie review. I told you they weren't going away forever. Today, finally, I'll get into the finally in a second, we are talking about the Fear footage. Though, I want to say a quick thank you to my creepy patron peeps for your support of my channel. Thank you so much. If you want to find out the perks to being a creepy patron peep, you can follow that link in the description. Alright, so really quick before I get into the summary and the review and all that, I just want to disclaim that I was sent this movie. I was sent the movie by the writer/director of the film to review. That being said though, I am gonna give it an honest review, so you don't have to worry about that. I'm not being paid to review it at all, or definitely not being paid to give it a good review. So, and I am going to give some spoilers as well. It just is, to me, it's pertinent to what I liked and what I didn't like about the movie. So just a fair warning as well while I'm giving warnings. So there's not a lot of info on this movie out on the internet, which I will get into. So I'm just gonna read you the summary from the back. Our footage is written and directed by Ricky Umberger. Takes place on April 19th, 2016, when Deputy Leo Cole of the Dark Bluff, Maryland Sheriff's Department vanishes after being dispatched to 11628 Hang Manor Road. The next morning, his body camera was found. So the film is, as you can imagine, a found footage film. It's also an anthology, kind of, because what the summary that I just read is actually the wraparound story. So that's kind of like the main story that's going on. This deputy, Leo Cole, is investigating this house. He finds a VHS tape called The Fear Footage, like it shows on the cover. He finds this VHS tape and it has 3 segments on it, and those play throughout the movie. So those are kind of like our anthology bits. So this movie, you can look it up. It doesn't have an IMDb page. I can't find any info on the movie, like the cast or crew, and there's no like credits at the beginning or end of the movie, which is definitely interesting. And I mean, on the back of it, all it has is a summary that I read, some stills from the movie, and it has like a funny kind of little, like, it says this video is property of the Dark Bluff, Maryland Sheriff's Department and is still considered evidence in the disappearance of Deputy Leo Cole. Any unauthorized reproduction of this video is strictly prohibited. And then like a warning that the movie is going to affect you psychologically. There's no like, the only thing I know is the name of the writer and director, Ricky Umberger. Also, the actual DVD is blank, which is creepy. I don't know if that was intentionally done, like to be creepy, or if it's just like they couldn't get artwork done for the DVD. I don't even know how you do that, so I wouldn't blame them for not getting that done. I don't know how you would do that. I don't know how things work. But if it was done intentionally, nice touch. It's really creepy. And then all there is on the inside is just like a note from Mr. Umberger, just a little bit about the movie. But again, no cast or crew or anything, so definitely interesting. So let's get into what I liked about the Fear footage. What I like I was just talking about with, like, you know, having no info on the movie out on the internet and anything, hats off for that. Like, it's very kind of like Blair Witch-esque, I feel like. So obviously, as it's an indie feature, there's a whole bunch of unknown actors. I didn't recognize anybody in the movie. And you can't find the cast list online that I could find. So it kind of reminds me of like the Blair Witch marketing a little bit. And so many other movies like Cannibal Holocaust as well kind of did a similar thing also. So hats off for that. I think that's really, it's a really fun like marketing sort of thing, especially for a found footage movie where, you know, you have that, you know, still holding on to a reality a little bit, or it seems like it's from reality. So I like that touch. The 3 segments of the movie were actually really well done. They made sense, like the stories, they made sense. They weren't too long or too short. I feel like they were just the right amount of time to tell the story that they were trying to tell, each one. They're not connected in any way other than they're just like creepy stories, really. And they all had effective like tension building and scares throughout, so my hat is off to you, sir. Performances were also pretty good. Like I was talking about with indie features, these are all unknown actors, and usually A lot of times maybe they're inexperienced or this is their first movie. Obviously I can't tell because I don't know who any of them are to look them up. But usually, at least with my experience with these indie movies, there's always at least like one or two that stick out like a sore thumb for just being like really bad. But I can't think of one person in the movie that stuck out for being bad. Like the performances weren't amazing, mind you, they weren't great, but they were not bad either. So it's like you're able to kind of just suspend your disbelief, you know? Appreciate the thought put into the wraparound. So a lot of, you guys know, if you've been on this channel for at least a little bit, you know I have a lot of problems with found footage. Usually it is not my favorite. Common takeaway from found footage is kind of, you know, when the audience like asks itself like, wait, who actually found and edited this footage together? Because clearly it's edited. I like the wraparound, how we have the officer who's dispatched to this house and he finds this creepy VHS that could be connected to what happened in the house, so he watches it. So I like that thought like put into there, like, okay, we need to have a reason to watch all these segments instead of just showing a movie with 3 segments with no connection, if that makes sense. All Hallows Eve. You'll remember like the wraparound segment is like the babysitter with the kids and they're watching the scary movie and that's like the segments or whatever. Kind of like that, like there's a reason for like us sitting down watching this movie and the wraparound does that. So I appreciate that. But that being said, let's get into what I didn't like about the fear footage. I didn't like. So you'll notice I was pretty much talking about the segments the entire time. That's because I feel like all the problems I had with this movie were in the wraparound. So I'm gonna get into that. So the wraparound is found footage itself, and then all of the segments are like home videos, so they're found footage also. So the footage we're getting in the wraparound is the body cam of the deputy, and then like the tape he finds is like home movies kind of, so it's like, you know, somebody holding a video camera. We're watching found footage and then that character then goes and watches like a found footage sort of deal. I feel like that kind of adds like a layer of detachment for the audience, if that makes sense. Again, where I'm gonna kind of go back to All Hallows Eve, where the wraparound, you know, is, you know, 3rd person camera, and then it goes into the movies whenever we're watching it, although that's not a found footage movie, but you know what I mean. And also with the cop who are following Leo Cole, I feel like there were just some things that did not make sense. And here's where I'm gonna get into spoiler territory. So he goes into this house to, you know, figure out what's going on in there or whatever. I'll be honest, I don't remember why he's dispatched to the house, but if they do say it, I'm not sure. So he goes in and he's looking around the house and there's nobody in the house. He goes into the little girl's room, and he finds her diary. So I'm kind of just like, okay. And then he picks it up and then proceeds to read it. And there's like 4 pages that this guy reads. To which I'm kind of like, that kind of took me out a second, where I'm like, wait, why is he reading the diary? Shouldn't you be looking around the house for anybody? Stops and reads the diary, and then on the last entry, the girl literally says that she's gonna kill herself and her family and put the bodies in the closet, or in a closet or something like that. So instead, like at that point, I feel like the cop should have been like, okay, so now I gotta go search all the closets because there's probably dead bodies in them. But no, he makes his way back to the living room and watches another segment of the tape. The other segment ends, and then he does some more exploring, trying to find anybody. And at one point he hears a noise behind him, like somebody's in the house. So he turns around asking who's there, come out, I'm the police, whatever. And then goes and watches another segment. Oh, I was just like, it was like those little bits like that didn't make any sense. Like, you're supposed to be investigating the house, so it's like, why, if you heard somebody in the house, why would he not go rushing after the sound to figure out who's in the house? But no, he goes back and watches another segment of the VHS tape. Just those little bits did not make any sense. I feel like it almost would have been better. I don't know, I just feel like it almost would have been a little bit better if there wasn't any in between with the segments. Just play the segments. I feel like they were short enough that you could have done that and then just do the ending pretty much. Because the ending does take a little bit. It's almost like a full segment length, I feel like. There were moments where I was kind of like, oh, okay, I kind of want the movie to end now. Although it was done really well, there's the cool part where, you know, he can't get out of the house, and, you know, the cool part where he goes to open the front door and then it opens up into another part of the house and he kind of goes in a loop, which is cool. But it goes on for a little while. So yeah, it was like those little bits. Like, so really the main problems I had with the movie was the wraparound. I think everything else was done pretty well. Worth it. Was the fear footage worth it? I'm not gonna not recommend that you watch this. I think it does a whole lot right. It's definitely a couple notches above some of the other indie screeners that I've gotten, for sure. It's not perfect by any means though. I'm gonna give it a solid 3 out of 5. I thought it was just solidly okay. You know, that's the only rating I can give you because it doesn't have an IMDb page. There's nothing on IMDb. There's nothing on Letterboxd for it. Nothing on Rotten Tomatoes for it. So there you have it. And I don't know of anywhere else you can watch it yet. If I do find somewhere, like if it ends up like on Amazon or Shudder or something like that, I will leave a link and or info in the description. I will link the film's Instagram page because that is the only social media I can find for the movie. That's how they reached out to me. So I will leave their Instagram handle in the description for you if you want to check them out that way. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here and become a Creepy Peep today. I post videos Monday through Friday, and make sure you ring that notification bell down there to be notified whenever I post a video or whenever I go live. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay strange. Bye.